Bill Pito along with Alan Hahn. Monica McNutt's going to join us here in a couple of seconds. We've talked about the Knicks defense here. The Knicks are now 16-5 in the last 21. Coming into tonight, top-rated D in the whole league over the last 20 games. Denver's the top-scoring offense in the entire league. They score over 120 a game, and the Knicks held them to 103 points.
Yeah, they took advantage of the schedule, of course, because Denver's playing in the back-to-back. Denver didn't have Jamal Murray in the second half, but even before that injury, Denver was struggling making threes. The Knicks were also struggling making threes and made sure that they were putting pressure on him defensively. This was an absolute clinic from the Knicks from start to finish, including the early timeout that Mike Brown called, letting his team know the effort out of the gate here, first 2 minutes, not good enough. Raise your level. When they did, it was lights out.
All right, Alan, let's bring in Monica McNutt. She helped call the game on TV tonight with Tyler Murray. Monica, great call on the game with Tyler. Not a bad game to call. How much fun was that to watch?
No, honestly, guys, that was a ton of fun. And this is the kind of thing that you go home and you frame, right? Like, it is spectacular up and down the roster. And, Hahn, I'm so glad you called out the play of both Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, this is the type of thing that is so encouraging when you think about the big aspirations and the big goals for this season from this New York Knicks squad, because that is the best offense in the league by its rating. And I get it. You do have to put some asterisks around the schedule, around the Murray injury. But one thing that David at home.
Yeah, and Monica, you got to look at not just the 16-5 over the last 21, but how the Knicks have played against the best teams in the league. Remember, last year, that was a big part of the conversation. They're 17-10 now against teams in the top 6 in the East and the West. And against the Western top 6, they're now 7-3. So, you have to meet the moment a lot of times when you play these teams. And sometimes it works against you, like second game back-to-back for the Knicks playing the Thunder. This, they took advantage of. This they took advantage of, and this is important to also note. Now they've beaten the Denver Nuggets twice this season. When we talk about, hey, if you get to the finals, who are you going to face? You got to feel pretty good about how you'd play if it was the Denver Nuggets.
I mean, Hahn, if we're going to break it down, let's break it down all the way and let it be broke. The only team that folks are upset about when it comes to the New York Knicks are the Detroit Pistons. And we know that there's a lot of personal stuff there. But if you look at their record outside of those 3 forgettable performances, let's call them that, this is a very
15. They won the third quarter by 12. In those 2 quarters, they outscored Denver 78
78.
to 51.
That's what you want to say is 2 quarters, they had 78 points. And it really wasn't just one player getting hot. It was several different. Look at Towns. In that second quarter, he got going, got 8 points. And then, of course, OG Anunoby. How'd you know he was feeling it? Step back 3 in the corner. That's how you know. Well, turning turnovers into points was big. And then the third quarter, you thought you'd get a push from Denver. But OG Anunoby had to push back. And the Knicks just started building a lead up and up and up. And that's when the 3 started falling. So both teams struggled in the first half. But in the second half, the Knicks made 12 of 16 from downtown after struggling 4 of 18 in the first half. That, to me, is when it was over. And then just the effort defensively, getting steals, and OG with the reverse dunk. Monica, like you said, this is one where you look score. Bill said it before we got on the air. He said, where do you begin? There's so many things to look at. The number that jumped out at me, though, Mon, 76 points in the paint. 76. 42 in the first half when no one could make a 3. That's winning basketball.
Okay, so I love the way they bounced back from the three-point line in the second half. But the other one that I will add is coming into this game, the Nuggets had a 9-game streak of denying teams or holding them to 10 or less offensive rebounds, right? They were up around 79 point something in terms of how many defensive rebounds they were claiming. And so the Knicks came in here and bust that streak wide open with 14 offensive rebounds. Like, there's so many things to choose from in this. One thing that has kind of been a ride, we'll call it, over the course of this season.
Streaky.
We haven't even mentioned Jalen Brunson scoring. He scored 142 points. Monica, Jalen Brunson scores only 9. And yet they go for 142. But again, Brunson doing other things. Second straight game in which he goes for 15 assists to tie his season high. His career high 17. He almost got there. But back-to-back games in which Brunson has not shot well.
It's not exactly how it works. And so I think on a night where his teammates had it going, I thought he made the right decisions. His shot, wasn't quite where he's accustomed to it being tonight. But I thought he made the right decisions. I thought he gave a lot of effort on the defensive end of the basketball. And we know the refrain that we keep hearing from these guys that has to be the side that opens up the offense. So, listen, we have watched Jalen Brunson the entire time that he's been in a Knicks uniform. I don't think that streak is going to continue. You know he's going to spend time in the gym making sure that he can get right for the rest of this road trip.
Speaking of gym, get Tyler on a treadmill. I heard him in the broadcast. You're trying to get him to work out. Get him on a treadmill.
We give each other space to do the things we love. Tyler's not really a gym rat, in case you've noticed.
Well, I'm coming to L.A. I'll see you in the gym Sunday morning at 9 a.m.
All right, let's go, Pito. We getting in the gym.
Monica, great job on the game. We'll see you in Los Angeles, all right?
Sounds good.
All right, we've been talking about OG Anunoby. Last year in Denver, career high 40. Tonight in Denver, 34.
He probably would have gotten 40.
Yeah, if they kept him in, they didn't need him to play in garbage time. Tonight's thrilling moment, Alan, brought to you by FanDuel Casino. Get your thrill on. Whether it's the altitude or whatever it is, Anunoby's last 2 games in Denver have been massive.
And that's when the game turned. He got real aggressive. It must have been, first of all, the zone defense didn't work because he was picking that apart just by drives, his ball-faking drives, the aggressiveness that he drove to the basket with. You can tell he's starting to feel better. Remember that toe? Because he doesn't. He forgot about that toe issue already. I love this steal. Taps it up. Diawara finds him for the dunk and the reverse. And look at these numbers. The Rocky Mountain Way. I mean, he loves to play there. That's why I said, like, these matchups when you want to dream forward to the finals, one thing you know is if it's in Denver, OG's ready.
Yeah, Mac Brown has got to be an incredibly happy coach. His team is playing. You know, what they said 70 games. You want to be at your peak in 70 games? Knicks may be at their peak at, like, what are we at, 63, 64
and
right now?
Yeah, it's 64. That has been also the refrain of a lot of coaches when they look at the regular season. And I know we as fans and media, we make a big deal about those matchups. There's certain games on the calendar you build towards the playoffs when you're a contender. And you want to be playing your best basketball. You want to fix all the problems during the season, experiment with some things that might not work on a given night. But by the time you get to April, you've got to know who you are. You've got to know what works for you. And everybody's got to be on the same page. That's what the Knicks have looked like here over these since the All-Star break.
And you got to be healthy.
Well, the Knicks have looked like here over these since the All-Star break.
And you got to be healthy.
Well,
they got to be healthy come April 18th.
Is the most important factor.
And only Deuce McBride has been out, so fingers crossed it stays this way.
Yeah.
And they played the right way. And when you're up big like that, you can go out there and kind of look for yours or just go be haphazardly, play the game haphazardly because you're up and you still have a pretty good chance to win. But, you know, Tyler, Jordan Clarkson, those guys, they did a phenomenal job. So I applaud those guys because I thought that group got a little better today. You know, the whole team did, and that group in particular. So it's great. It's fun to watch. You know, 76 points in the paint, 17 second chance points, especially when you're shooting 58% from the floor, 22 fast break points, 14 offensive rebounds. Great job. You know, 11 turnovers as fast as we're trying to play. That's a phenomenal job. Obviously, OG had a whale of a game for us offensively. He was our DPOG. He was good. We also were 15 for 15 with the 50-50 balls. So every time that thing was on the ground, we got on the ground and tried to come up with it. So our guys were really good in that area. One of the things we talked about at halftime was, you know, we were sending them to the free throw line, especially in the second quarter. And our guys did a better job. They had 21 free throws.
Just the OG's overall game. You know, just since basically last 5 games, I think he seems to have found a rhythm. Is this just a culmination of how well he's been playing? Yeah,
you know, and before his toe injury, I mean, he was playing like this, I felt. He was playing high-level basketball. I mean, it's just powerful, his decision. He was playing like this, I felt. He was playing high-level basketball. I mean, it's just powerful. His decisions are quick. You know, he's touching the paint. And if you don't get to him, he's knocking the shot down. And then defensively, he's just on another level, man. I mean, if he keeps that up, that's defensive player of the year type stuff. For sure, first team, you know, all defense. But that's defensive player of the year type stuff that he's doing. he's guarding point guards. Then he's guarding, I don't know how he could do a lot.
I know you say there's ups and downs. When you see the highs that this team hits, what do you think about the levels that you're at here, doing this against a team like this or San Antonio the other day?
Yeah, we feel like we could still be better. And I've said this all along. That's what the season's about, and you're not going to have it all in 1 week, or you're going to grow from your lumps. And that's what this group's doing. You just hope at this time of the season, because we're gonna take a couple of lumps still, but you hope you don't boom, 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 and then do this. If you take one, it's boom, and then it's here again. But this team, it's deep. It's really good. These guys are connected. They're all sacrificing. The competitive spirit is there. You see it night in and night out. And they believe. He believes in his teammates, and they're making the plays that they need to make when they're committing to the ball.
For a guy like Pacone, who obviously has been out of the rotation all season, how can a game like this kind of boost your confidence for the long run?
He's been playing well in the G League, been shooting a mess out of it. He's got great size, and he's young. Mo's young, and we want those guys to keep growing and developing.